So before I start the video, Bleach, yes, it won the poll announcement I made on Twitter the other day, and that's the reason you see the title right now. So basically that. As for the second thing I want to talk about is there's another poll right now. That is, once I'm done reviewing Bleach, I want you guys to vote for which anime I should watch and review next. The four options you have is One Piece, Knights and Magic, JoJo Part 1 and 2, and Gangsta. So those are the four options you guys have on Twitter. You guys can vote and let me know which anime you guys want me personally to review. My Twitter link is in the description down below, and let's get started. Oh boy, this is gonna be a real long journey, 365 episodes, I think so there are for Bleach, or 63. It's gonna be a long journey, and yes, I'm gonna watch Bleach with fillers, so it is gonna be a long journey for me. But personally, I watched the first 20 episodes, which is the first arc basically of Bleach, and that's basically called the Agent of Shinigami arc, or also known as the Substitute arc. Now, before I get into the review of all the 20 episodes, and yes, this is gonna be a really long video, like unlike my other videos, which are like 10 6 to 10 minutes. That's basically the time that I take to review my other videos. But as this is like 20 episodes that I'm reviewing in a single video, yes, I'm gonna go through each and every episode unless the episode is connected to each other. I'm gonna go through all the 20 episodes and like just go through each and every episode and what my personal thoughts on each episode are and everything. So that's gonna be pretty much me throughout the video, and it's gonna be a really long one. So if you guys if you guys get bored at any time, you guys can leave because I'm not that interesting, all right. But I'm gonna try my best to break out each and every episode and give my personal opinion on everything that happens. So just to start off with, what is Bleach and everything? Bleach is pretty much a story about a young guy named Ichigo Kurosaki. He's basically a guy who can see ghosts. That's pretty much it. And that's pretty much explored in the first episode of Bleach, where he can basically see ghosts and everything. And we see how he's also kind of a kind and gentle person. At the same time, he can be very rowdy, if I have to put it like that. So yeah, he is he's both in both type of persons in general, and he just does whatever he thinks is right basically, and that's basically his thinking. Just so you know. So yeah, this guy can see ghosts and everything. And if you guys see in the first episode, you guys will already know that he basically gains his Shinigami powers in the first episode, and that's due to Rukia, a Shinigami. How surprising, or in other words, a Soul Reaper in English. In Japanese, it'll be called Shinigami, the death god or whatever, and in English, it's Soul Reapers, basically Reapers, basically that god, whatever. But anyways, yeah, he basically meets Rukia, who's a Shinigami and everything, and she basically gives him her powers. The reason for that is so that Ichigo can rescue his family and everything. But in process of giving a little power to Ichigo, she actually gives all of her power. So there is a problem with that episode I had. It's a good episode, not gonna lie, it's a pretty good episode, and Ichigo kind of starts off badass and everything. But here is a problem with the episode I had, okay? A huge problem I had with the episode. Ichigo just got in the way in that episode. I felt like he was getting in the way too much. While Rukia would have, in my opinion, if Rukia would have, like, Ichigo wouldn't have gotten in Rukia's way, personally, I think so Rukia would have taken care of it. But again, you had to give some kind of plot armor for the character to get some kind of power, so this was a plot armor given to him. Now, that was pretty much episode 1 for my breakdown on episode 1, or my review on episode 1, whatever you would call it. Now, let's get into episode 2 and 3 because it's a continuation of each other. This is where my most hated character gets the screen time. Yes, she is one of my most hated characters. I hate her. I hate her with passion. And that's Orihime. Like, I just hate her so much. First of all, she's annoying. The only time she was useful was when she basically tried to save Tatsuki and basically saved Tatsuki and everything. Yeah, that was the only time she was useful, I would say. She just gets in the way of everyone, and that's not how you write a female protagonist. Especially this is a shonen, so I just give a pass to that because shonen, the only female protagonists in shonen that I should know are well written are Miyu from Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple, well written female protagonist, and Shigure too. So I'll leave that too. But that's again from Kenichi. The two female protagonists already named from Kenichi. Kenichi is a great series if you guys want to watch. And Noelle from Black Clover. That's the only two female protagonists. Oh, we can also count Urza from Fairy Tail. She's also a. I wouldn't say she's well written, but she is. She does something. But yeah, that's pretty much for female protagonists that I personally know were well written. But yeah, Orihime, I hate her with passion. I'm sorry if you guys are Orihime fans. I just hate her with passion. That's just me. And throughout, as we go through the Bleach arcs and everything, I'm gonna go more and more in depth of why I hate Orihime. This is just the start. This is just the edge of it. Like this is like scraping of it. Okay, like it's just the start of why I hate Orihime. You're gonna hear a lot of ranting on her. So if you're not a big fan of somebody ranting on Orihime and why someone hates her, I don't think so. You guys will appreciate my video in any way, shape, or form. But there will be one plus point that I'll give you in episode 2 and 3 that I really loved, and I think so that touched me was the scene where Orihime's brother disappears. That the lightning in that scene, the animation in that scene just looks so good, and I even tweeted it out like that scene was so good, and it still is a touching moment in my opinion. Even when I see now after so many years, great moment in my opinion. Like that's quite amazing. Now let's talk about episode 4 and 5, another continuation episode. This is an episode of one of my favorite characters from Bleach. He's definitely not favorite right now, but at this time he was introduced, he was definitely my favorite character for just not because of how badass he was and everything, but Chad was Chad. Like there was there's no comparison to him at that point that I could make with any of the other characters from Bleach because at that point I was like, whoa, Chad, damn son, you are dense. Like you are dense AF. Like that's how I felt when I saw Chad because Chad was pretty damn cool. Like I will not lie, Chad was a pretty good, damn cool character. I'm just disappointed that he was one of the most underutilized characters, which makes me disappointed from inside because Chad had so much potential inside him. Like he was built up to be such a great character and everything. And I will get into that in the next arc because I do want to discuss about him in the next arc. But this is the only point. Like he rescues and everything. It's good to see Chad in action and everything in this episode. We also see how he punches the hollow just like that, and that's what made Chad cool in my eyes because he just punched bare hand. Ichigo needed Shinigami powers to actually do something to a hollow, and Orihime was Orihime. She didn't do jack shit. What? Yeah, she didn't do jack shit. Like she didn't do jack shit to her brother, except for hug him. But the friendship of power of friendship. Yes, friendship of power of friendship. That's how it goes. Power of love, brotherly love. That's how I get the power. What? I should stop making it. Sounds cringy. But yeah, Chad was just he straight up punched a Hollow just like that, and the Hollow was actually thrown back just like that, and like Chad had the most potential to be someone who could always be Ichigo by Ichigo's side, and this is what I love. Chinese mangas, also known as manhwas. I think so. That's how you say it. I love Chinese mangas just in general because when it comes to anime, like Japanese mangas, a lot of best friend kind of role characters are thrown aside, just like that, and they're not compared to the main characters. Uh, but here in Chinese mangas, they are compared to with the main character, and that's why I was like last few days I've been reading Chinese manga, so that's the reason why I said that. But anyways, like I was gonna be like Chad, come on, Chad. Like I was cheering up during when I was first watching him because he was just such a good character. It was just such a badass character to watch, and I just loved him. The moment I saw him on the screen, and I was like, damn, this man hit a hollow, and he didn't even see him. Like, damn, son, you gotta give this man credit for what he did. Like, come on, even Shinigamis need to do swing their souls. This man just barehandedly just barehandedly took that hollow to the side. Like, damn, son, I really love Chad in that in the those two episodes. Now let's talk about Cone or the Mod Soul just in general, which was episode 6 and 7. Now, if you guys are just going like he's just talking about characters and everything, that's because the first 15 episodes is basically character introductions, and that's basically all there is to it. Like, these all are just characters, and they are portrayed how they are in this episode. So I have to just go through the characters in the first 15 episodes, and the last 5 episodes is where the main story starts taking place. So just saying that if you guys are like, oh, he's just talking about characters and everything, that's just because the first 15 episodes or so is just characters. That's just there is to it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But let's get into um, Code. Code was a mod soul. Basically, mod souls are something that were destroyed. They were all destroyed because they were like in sense something dangerous to the soul society, and they are like modified human souls basically. So that's the reason why it was destroyed, because they were like danger to soul society or something like that, and Cone was just a survivor of those mod souls. And Cone, he is funny. People find him cringy, I find him funny. I'm sorry, but I find Cone very funny, especially in his bunny costume. Love Cone. It's just I'm sorry, but I love Cone for what he is. He is funny, and I personally feel really good to watch him. Like, I don't know, whenever he's on screen, I just have a good smile on my face. Obviously, Cone at first wasn't like that. He was more like, I need to survive, and that's basically it. And basically, no one should die in his opinion, because people who because he saw like his comrades die, his comrades who were the other mod souls around him, they died, and he's a survivor of it. He got mixed up with the normal soul mod souls. This one was just like the more advanced ones. Now here's a little bit of character development. Not character development, story development. Not like character introductions or anything. The finally I could get into the story and finally express what I felt about it. Grand Fisher. This was the hollow that when I first saw, and I was like, damn! Now that's an antagonist. I had that expression when Grand Fisher appeared. Not when fodder hollows were appearing left and right. No, I didn't have that expression that time. But when Grand Fisher appeared, I had that expression. And this was also the time when the Soul Reaper appeared, and he was like, who I completely forgot the name again. And I even tweeted out that, yo, I completely forgot that this guy even existed. Because he never, ever comes back. Never ever. That's the only time you will ever see him. So that's the reason why I was like, yo, I completely forgot this guy even existed. But yeah, the Grand Fisher, the moment you see his face, the moment you see this hollow, you're like, yeah, now that's an antagonist for you. Because this man, he's the one who he didn't kill Ichigo's mom. I'm not gonna spoil what the actuality of it is, but yes, he did kill Ichigo's mom, but at the same time, he didn't. I'm not gonna spoil much. You guys have to read the manga for that, but I'm not gonna spoil much on that. Well, what happens and everything, because obviously, if Bleach anime comes out anytime next year or 2020, it'll be out in next year or 2020. That's basically it. After all that, everything. Like, come on, they wouldn't announce Bleach just like that. That's the reason why I don't want to spoil much on that, that matter, because that subject matter is really important to the story about who killed Ichigo's mother. So I'm just gonna say that yes, Grand Fisher killed Ichigo's mom, but at the same time, he didn't kill Ichigo's mother. There was someone else who did it, and I'm not gonna spoil who it is at all, because that will be that will be a major spoiler to the story, and that's not what I want to do here. Obviously, you guys should read the manga if you haven't. But yeah, that's basically it. And he has the ability to like mimic other humans, which I was like, damn, like that's the type of antagonist I love, because this is not in Hollow, which thinks with bronze. He rather uses brains, which I give props to, because I love intelligent characters, and that's why I was really happy to see Grand Fisher, who gets one-shotted by someone in the future, which I'll discuss later on when I get to that arc. But like, damn, I loved Grand Fisher as a antagonist when he first appeared on the screen. Like, not gonna lie at all, he was really threatening. I would see he had that menacing atmosphere that an antagonist should have when they first appear on the screen, and that's basically what Grand Fisher was. Another thing to keep in mind is that Ichigo actually did not win against Grand Fisher. Grand Fisher escaped. How many times do you see that happen in an anime? Where the character gets a plot armor power up. Yes, Ichigo did get a plot armor power up, and he still wasn't able to defeat Grand Fisher. Even after getting the plot armor power up, he wasn't able to defeat Grand Fisher, and instead Grand Fisher escaped, which would mean that he would Grand Fisher would like basically Grand Fisher is going on more hunts basically. Even that's not the case, but that's what people would assume at that point. So it was a pretty cool. At least at that point, I think so. Some anime did it by now. Like some anime has done it up until this point, but during that time, I would say when this anime was released, that was 2004. This was a big deal. Like low key, this was a big deal. And Grand Fisher is no evil guy who can turn into a good guy. No. That's not Grand Fisher for you. Grand Fisher is pure evil. He will kill you. So for somebody like that to escape just like that, like that was a big deal during those times, at least when the series was released. And even today, like like in today's time, I think so that Grand Fisher's menacing aura is what makes him such a great antagonist. Like really loved Grand Fisher for that. Now, I'm gonna go past episode 10 because there isn't much I want to talk about episode 10, because I find Dan Kanaji annoying, kinda. So I'm just gonna go past that, and there's really not much to talk about because there isn't much. Like it's just character development, I would say, if I had to put it. Like there isn't much to talk about in episode 10 other than that, except for there was a new spirit introduced, and that's the chain souls, chain spirits. That's basically it. That's basically it. So I'm not gonna talk much about episode 10. But what I'm gonna talk about is episode 11. I freaking loved Uryu Ishida when he was introduced. When he was introduced, I loved him more than Chad. I loved him more than Urahara. I loved him more than like any of the characters, even Ichigo, even Rukia. I loved him more than any other characters when he was introduced. I personally, he's still my top five favorite um, Bleach characters, if I had to put it. He would have been definitely been my top favorite characters if his rivalry with Ichigo continued, which kind of does, but well, well, that's just the final arc. Like, who cares about that? Nobody has, for anybody who hasn't read the manga, it's like, yeah, where's the rivalry? For anime only, it'll be like, where's the rivalry now? Come on, Uryu Ishida, where's the rivalry for him? Like, come on, Uryu Ishida and Ichigo are supposed to be rivals. Like, come on, a Soul Reaper and a Quincy. They were supposed to be fated rivals. Kinda they are. But still, it's kind of disappointing how Ichigo strays away from Uryu. It's just like, it feels bad. It's like, they do Uryu quite dirty with what they do to him. Just feels bad for him to not be in like 2 or 3 arcs. I think so. Was it just in, no? I think so. It's because of fillers that it fell 2 or 3 arcs. But yeah, I think so. It was just like one arc that Uryu wasn't there. But yeah, that's for later to discuss. But Uryu Ishida, when he was first introduced, another character that like there are a lot of characters in Bleach when they were first introduced. I freaking loved them. But later on, they're like, meh. That's literally me. Like, first on, I'm like, oh, time to orgasm. It's literally me when I saw the Bleach characters for like first time. The introduction to Bleach characters for the first time. The only character that lived up to my expectations was Aizen. Like, the only character that lived up to my expectation were the two characters actually, Kenpachi and Aizen, and those are the only two characters that I ever would say lived up to my personal expectations. Because Aizen, for obvious reasons, which I'm not gonna get into up until the time comes, I'll get into that. And Kenpachi, because obviously Kenpachi was the only time they only did dirty for him once, but I'm gonna let it slide because later on he's just a badass. He's a complete badass. Nothing more. Look, just a complete badass. That's all there is to him. But yeah, Uryu Ishida, when he was first introduced, he actually was pretty damn cool because he was literally like, "Yo, you're a Soul Reaper, you're my enemy." Like, jeez, straight up, you're a Soul Reaper, you're my enemy. And he shows Ichigo's like, you don't even know how to use this. Like, he mocked Ichigo like nobody else in the series did. Like, I think so the only character that mocked Ichigo like that would be Gin Ichimaru, and that was later on in the series. But the way he mocked Ichigo, no one else in the series did mock Ichigo like him. Like, come on. The first time he was introduced, like, he was such a good character. Such a good character. Like, loved him. And Ichigo was quite surprised by him because I would say that, like, Ichigo was literally, he was just blessed with all the powers he had, but Uryu was just pure talent, I would say. He was just pure talent from where he is. He's a Quincy. I mean, yeah, he does come from a Quincy heritage and everything, but it was his pure talent in the end, which really, really showed how powerful he was and how he showed everything about his character and stuff. So really love Uryu and the way he challenged Ichigo and stuff. Like, gotta love him for what he did. Obviously, he did something dumb, but I don't care about it as long as I see him on the screen do shit. Personally, another thing that I love is I love bow and arrows. I love bow and arrows as a weapon. I love swords too, but bow and arrow, yeah, that's my jam. Like, that's my jam. I always rock with a bow and arrow in Skyrim. Like, come on, that's the reason why I was rocking with bow and arrow in Skyrim. because bow and arrow looks cool. I always wanted to be a Quincy in Skyrim. It made my dream come true. Episode 12. Chad. Gotta love Chad for that. Like, episode 12 was all about Chad. I loved him in episode 12 again. Because look at his arm. When you look at his arm, like, that's badass. That's a badass arm. Like, you want that arm. You definitely want that arm. And another reason why Chad was, like, he had potential to be one of the greatest characters in Bleach. Because a lot of people love Chad, like me, because of how he was basically. How he just was. He's power. And another thing I loved about Chad was his backstory. Like, I don't know why I loved it. Personally, it's just like it feels like a generic backstory. But I think so the way it was executed, I think so. And I think so that's what made me love Chad's backstory actually. Like his grandfather says to him, like, these hands aren't made to fight, and these hands are made to protect. And that's basically what it is. Like, you don't have to fight for your, like, yourself, but rather, like, what, like, he said something about not fighting for, like, not fighting if not needed, something like that. I don't remember that well what he said, but he did say among those lines, he did say, "Do not raise your hands unless it's necessary," or something like that. But it was a great reflection to Chad's character and why he's so dense all the time. Because Chad was an angry man. He beat up people, but after what his grandpa says, and how he was like his hand isn't made to fight people. It's basically why Chad is such a dense character, and why he is. Like, he even realizes that his hand isn't made to beat up innocent people. It's to like give him, like, he basically to protect others. That's basically what it is. Not to protect himself, but rather protect others. That's basically what his hand was. Finally, I got it right after so many tries. Yeah, I'm great. Thank you. Oh wait, this list is getting bigger. And I don't want to talk about this character. Can I just go to sleep? Like, I really don't want to talk about Orihime because this is the only time she was useful ever in Bleach. I dislike her. I just don't like her. Like, this was the only time she was ever useful, and it was a fodder hollow, literally, literally. That's all. That's all to her. Next time, she was never useful. Unless you want to take the healing into consideration, then she did heal Ichigo later on, but it's way later on. Way later on. Orihime. People say Sakura is useless. When I look at Orihime, she's more useless than Sakura, to be honest. Like, I'm being very honest here. Like, at least Sakura actually fought a main villain from Naruto. She actually fought Sasori. But when I look at Orihime, what did she ever do? Like, oh Jesus, like, jeez. I'm sorry, but she's a bad female character, just in general. And I pointed this out on Twitter too. But I felt like Tatsuki would have made a much better female character, a main female character, rather than Orihime. Like, Orihime being the main part of the main cast, just it just feels so disappointing because she really, like, I don't mind like chicks like her. Okay, she is dizzy, she is airheaded and everything. I don't mind that. Okay, like, I don't mind that at all. But like, she makes me laugh at some moments, but she then gets annoying with her stuff and gets in the way of Ichigo and everyone, and she just creates trouble for everyone. And then like, she is literally, like, she's the main female character, but at the same time she's the princess and damsel, if I had to say anything. That's basically her. Plus she has a very powerful power, she doesn't use it much, which kind of disappointed me. Especially Tsubaki. Tsubaki could have been such a useful power, but I'm disappointed with that too. Like that's the like I'm being very serious there. Like Orihime, like this is the only episode I've ever seen her be useful in. I can't remember any other time where she was like really useful in a battle. Not talking about healing or half battle, but I'm talking about like in a battle and a heat of a moment and everything. I don't think so. Anytime I've seen her be any more useful, even in the Soul Society, she was unuseful. Kind of disappoints me to see her go like her be wasted just like that for her to be a part of the main cast and be like that. Just like Chad, but at least Chad actually he fights someone and he actually defeats someone. So I'm gonna get to that later on, but whatever. Ah yes, yes. Let's talk about Menace Grande, a threat at this point. But after 60 episodes, Menace Grande is gonna look like a baby, literally, literally. It was cool to see Ichigo go up against the Menace Grande, and it was cool to see Uria use its sword technique and everything. But jeez, Menace Grande was the only threat that Menace Grande was ever gonna have was in this episode. No other episodes. That's basically it. This is the only episode where the Menace Grande would ever, and I quoted, ever be any kind of threat to anyone. It's like because 60 episodes later, everybody just keeps on getting OP. That's basically it. There is no stopping to getting OP. Like, that's pretty much it. Like Best Grande is never gonna be any useful after this. Like come on, like you introduce a such strong hollow, but you already know there are stronger hollows that are gonna show up in later episodes. It's just like yeah, like the Menace Grande are fodder compared to 60 episode later Ichigo and all the other characters, Byakuya and Rukia and all these other characters. Menace Grande is a fodder compared to them. Like, jeez. Ah, yes. Now I can finally get into the main storyline after all the characters were introduced. This this is where things just start to accelerate. Ex, Jeez, what did I just say? But yeah, this is where things start to like rush up real quick because I completely messed up that word. And that's the reason why I'm not saying it again. Because I will feel that I messed up that word again. I know I know how to pronounce that word, but I don't know what's wrong or with me right now. But yeah. Anyways, but this is where Renji and Byakuya were introduced. Renji was a pretty good character. Byakuya was a badass, and this is where everything started going downhill in a way because this is very simple. Giving the Soul Reaper powers to another, to a human, to a living being, is a huge crime. That's basically what Rukia did. She committed a big crime, and that's the reason why the Soul Reapers were after her. Basically, that's indicating towards Renji and Byakuya. Renji being Renji, I just say Renji being Renji. Wow, great review, 10 out of 10. This is how you review stuff. Now, here's the thing with Renji, alright? The first time he was introduced, he looked like he was that one type of antagonist. Like that crazy madman type of antagonist who would just go crazy because of all those tattoos and everything. And that's the reason why when you first see Renji, you're like, he's a madman. And plus, he does act like a madman because he's like, Rukia, I'm here to kill you. Okay, son, but you're not gonna kill her. You love her. Why would you kill her? Like, Jesus, come on. That's basically yes, yes, yes. Renji loves Rukia, yes. But yeah, that's basically that's basically what happens there. And it's like, Jesus, like, come on, like, what's with your personality? Come on, get a grip on it. Like, why are you acting so tough and everything? Just because you got Byakuya on your back, the guy who's gonna get who's gonna get fatherized by Ichigo, that guy. You're gonna actually regret with that guy? Really, really, that guy? Really, for real? That's the guy you would what? Really? And I'm kidding. Lieutenant and captains were a big thing at that point of episodes. Okay, they had a huge Ichigo, a lieutenant, and a captain. They had a huge power gap during that episode. A huge. Imagine this, okay? Let me put this in terms of, let's say, any other anime. Let's just put it in Dragon Ball terms. Basically, basically, Ichigo was Krillin, and just imagine Ichigo be Krillin, and he's going up against Byakuya, who's Jiren. Imagine that. That's basically the case that was there. Like, that was the power gap. That was a huge power gap. That was an amazingly huge power gap between Ichigo and Byakuya. But yeah, lieutenants and captains were big deals. Like, up until that point, where I am right now, like 17 episodes or 16 episodes in, like, they were a huge deal. And like, that's the reason why it was like you didn't even see Byakuya open his sword, like swing his sword or anything. When Ichigo got it, like, he had his stabs in his guts and everything. Like you just see the stabs and blood pour out of it. That's basically all you see from it, and you're like, whoa, what happened there? Like, that's basically the expression you get when you see Byakuya run just past Ichigo, because obviously that one badass character that's always in the series and everything. But yeah, that's basically, like, it just shows how powerful a captain is compared to Ichigo, who was just normal. He had nothing then, only Rukia's power back then, so that just shows. And plus, he basically destroyed Ichigo's chain soul. Basically, chain soul is what he use. It basically helps you see soul reapers, ghosts, and everything. And Byakuya destroyed that. Just shows how powerful he was. So yeah, it was a big deal back then. It was definitely a big deal back then. And then everybody just forgets about Rukia and everything. And Ichigo even contemplates himself, starts contemplating. And he's like, damn, like, Rukia deserves to be in that world, and I deserve to be in this world. Like, there is no big thing here to actually say about it. And I'm like, that is acceptable, because literally you have lost all of your powers, yeah, powers. You literally have lost all of your powers, and you, like, have no choice or anything. Like, you can't do anything. You don't know how to go to the Soul Society or anything. Even though Urahara said him there's a way, but you literally lost your powers and everything. So it just shows that Ichigo uh was contemplating, and that's when yeah, yeah, the the most hated character, my most hated character, my most hated character. Yeah, Orihime shows up, and she just basically cheers up Ichigo. What did she do? Why couldn't it be Chad? Why couldn't it be Chad to cheer up Ichigo? Like, come on, dude, let's have some bromance out here going on. Like, come on. Like, we need some bromance. Like, bros before hoes. Come on, bro. We need that. It's just like, come on. Like, come on. But yeah, like after that, Ichigo realizes that basically he needs to save Rukia, and he goes to Urahara. And Urahara, what? What are you gonna say? You're what? What? You're what? What are you gonna say? I have no idea. But Urahara, he puts Ichigo through some intensifying training. And Ururu, gotta love Ururu, the cute little Ururu. Protect Ururu. She's real kind. Protect Ururu at any cost. No, I'm not a pedophile. Stop looking at me like that. I didn't search up Ururu. I didn't search up Ururu hentai. Okay, don't don't don't. I'm saying you don't do it. Don't do it. I'm warning you. But but yeah. Uh, Urui just going up against Ichigo was funny because it's just like Ichigo running away from her all the time. It's like, damn, like, dude, like, love that sequence. Like, just love the sequence. And then the fate chain sequence was even more cool because it just shows that Ichigo's it kind of indicates something that happens later on, which I'll get into when I get into that arc. But it just indicates something that happens until later on, and you gotta love the mask, even the hollow mask that Ichigo gets. Like you gotta love it. Like that's a pretty cool mask he got there, going for him. But another thing is Ichigo's sword wasn't fixed. And another thing is Ichigo already had Soul Reaper powers, indicating something. Yes, indicating something. Yeah, Zangetsu. Yeah, good thing. Zangetsu, good thing. Like that's gonna help anyhow. Like, but yeah, you see his broken sword and everything. That's because he doesn't know the sword's name, obviously, yet. Because if you guys didn't figure out already, Zanpakutos are basically named, and each Zanpakuto has a unique name or an unique name. Sorry for my grammar there, but every Zanpakuto has an unique name, and pretty much that's the same case with Zangetsu, which is Ichigo Zanpakuto, and that is a long-held machete. That's that's basically it. Wait, no, that's not a machete. What I'm talking about? We get a long head machete. Yeah, this is more like it's not even a sword. What type of it's more like a long knife if I had to put it anyways. Yeah, it's just a long knife if I had to put it anything. Like it's a huge knife, a freaking huge knife. Not a machete because yes, we get a long machete. And you gotta love that. You gotta love the machete that you get later on. Beautiful. That machete is beautiful. Anyways, that's pretty much how Ichigo like gets his Zangetsu and everything, like remembering his name and everything, plot armor and everything. We also see Yoroichi. Just gonna say Yoroichi is a waifu. Don't at me. Yeah, Yoroichi is waifu. Who disagrees? Who disagrees with that? She is, listen, she is the most badass waifu you can ever get. Just gonna say that. But Yoroichi is a pretty damn good character. I'm not gonna spoil her character at all because actually I already spoiled her character, but I'm not gonna spoil her character that much. I'm not gonna go into detail, but yes, our beautiful cat is capable of doing a lot of things that we will come to know in future. I'm not gonna get into it. But right now, as of right now, she was training. I have a habit of saying she instead of he because Yoroichi is a female. Yes, that's a trap. It's a reverse trap. Don't worry. But it's like Yoroichi is a female. Like the first time when you see Yoroichi, do you really think that it's a female? Like, I just want to know. Like the name is very much a female name. I will not lie. Yoroichi sounds like a female name. But when you see it and talk like that, do you really think that Yoroichi is a female, or do you think that it's a male? Because I thought that was a male for sure. Like at first, uh, yeah. And then you see a beautiful body, and yeah, yeah, all good. Anyways, she was basically traded Orihime, Chad, and no, she was not training Uryu. She basically met Uryu, and Uryu was surprised because she was talking. Kind of love Uryu because Uryu was like, "What the hell? It's a talking cat!" Like Chad is also like, yeah, I'm in a big trouble with messing with that." Like, gotta love that scene. And this is where I love Orihime. Like when it comes to gag points, she does a good job, but when it comes to like serious points, she just gets annoying. Like this is why I hate her. Like She is just a comedy relief character, if I had to put anything. That's basically what she is. And I don't like characters like that. I mean, I do not mind comedy relief characters. Personally, I think so. Ikaku is a pretty good comedy relief character. You know, he gets serious at points. But, uh, like, I'm not a big fan of how Orihime's tone shifts from being a comic relief character serious, then comic relief, and then serious, and then serious, and then serious, and then serious, and then comic relief, and then serious. And yes, I went in the order. I don't know how good that order was, but that order was pretty good, alright. I don't know why I said that. I sound dumb over here right now. Like doing shit here. Anyways, yeah, let's continue on. Uh, Basically, I base it out on how I personally felt after watching it, and 7.5 out of 10. It's not a bad rating at all. I would say it was good one. I don't think that it was deserved an 8 or 9 out of 10 personally, because Bleach has a good start. I will give that to it, and it's right now in its prime when it comes to Soul Society arc. Anyways, let me know what you think about this episode. Like I said, and I'll see you guys in the next video. As always,